Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hello. It's so nice to see you all today. Thank you so much for dropping in for this very awesome and special interview today. I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hi, Tango Bunny. Hi, Omega Number. Proud Onions. Whoop Von Whoop. Nomad. Hello. Hello. Infinity Issue. John Matrix. Menno Q, hello, Mr. Energy, Flipsider, Sun, Goku, Iyasu, hello, everyone. If I missed your name, I'm so sorry. Brother Bill, hello, welcome in, everybody. I'm so excited. Like, seriously, really. Hi, Fluffy Quack, hello, because today I get to talk to somebody that I've been watching for a very, very long time. Like, I'm inspired by a lot of what they do. Like yesterday I was going through some of my own clips, right? Because like I was doing some video editing and stuff, and then this person's clip was recommended to me, and then I went through a rabbit hole and then started like watching all the different clips. And I was like just remembering all of these great memories of like different game playthroughs and hilarious moments. Who could it be? Who could it be? This very, very awesome and amazing guest that we're going to have today. So let me bring on let me bring on this incredible guest of mine who also you can now call a game dev because they made their own game. 11 out of 10, I know. So good. So good. Very, very good. Let's bring on the amazing and incredible Macaw. Hi, Macaw. How are you?
What's up, everyone?
Hello. I hope you had how was your day? How's the start of your day? It's the start of your day for you, right?
Mostly. I was sleeping, I ate, that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much what I did today too. I was like I was like streaming on the GOG channel, and then like I took a hardcore nap because I almost fell asleep during the stream, and then I woke up and I was like, oh, I better start writing these questions for Macaw today. Otherwise, I'm just going to get here and not know what to talk about.
And you had to put on the Beast 2 shirt, the most important thing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Shadow of the Beast 2.
You know,
my favorite Shadow of the Beast.
Is it? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, my favorite one. Huh? It's also the trolliest and most annoying one, but it is my favorite.
Oh, good to know. You know what? I have limited playthrough experience with Shadow of the Beast 2. I've played Shadow of the Beast 1 more, and I actually like made some progress, and I was very surprised because that game is very trolly. But
you just have to memorize every enemy spawn in that game.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Have you beaten both of them on your channel before?
I've beaten all three.
All three.
Although probably not on stream, actually. Maybe not actually on stream, but I have finished the Amiga ones on before. And 2's the hardest. 2 is ridiculous. It's absurd, that game, but...
So, have you tried... Because they brought that game to the Sega Genesis, right? Like, would you...
Yeah.
Have you played that one on your stream?
Yeah, like the Genesis one, they made a lot of changes to the Amiga one. And then they did some other versions of it as well. It's actually got a bunch of versions, but... The Amiga one's kind of unique, and then all the other ports are different. You can tell immediately from the completely different player sprite, and they made it way easier and less absurd with the balancing.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be somewhat easier. And I haven't finished them, though. I've only finished the FM Towns one, which was only released in Japan, which is built off of the Genesis one. So it's complicated.
Yeah, they are. Well... Thank you so much for being here, because I know we're going to
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to jump into some awesome games, because, like, even just thinking about that, like, it made me want to ask you about your Leander playthrough, and then, like, I know we're going to start snowballing into stuff, but before we get into that, I would love it if you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your channel.
Hello, everyone. I am Macaw45, and I play whatever game interests me at a given time on stream on Twitch, which is mostly retro. Mostly, the history of games is a lot more. There's a lot more games compared to modern games. Although I play some modern games, it generally tends to be retro, and I like games from different countries back in the pre-internet era or the early internet era, when games or countries had their own domestic scenes, different languages. I don't let languages stop me. I just play whatever is cool. So that's kind of my addiction.
Yeah, no, seriously. I feel like from watching your channel, like I have learned about so many games. Like I didn't know about some of these consoles and like game computer systems before I saw them on your channel. So I think that that's like the magic of your channel for me. Like every time I go into your channel, like I learn so much about the history of games too, and just how many like game developer facts you know, and like behind the scenes stuff. It's so fascinating. Like, where do you acquire all of that information, or is that just stuff you learn through your life of playing games?
That's just I guess I got addicted to looking at game databases.
Yeah.
I love games so much from such an early age that I was like, what if on this console that I don't know about, like, what about all the other games that are like Contra or something? Maybe there's something cooler in different ways or whatever. So I just go through entire databases and just look at like everything,
Yeah.
and just like I'll do that for this and keep moving to different consoles and computers, and it just never ends. It never ends.
I know, like the rabbit hole you can probably jump down, like when you
Yeah.
search like, okay, this game is like this, but then what about this one? And then once you start getting
Yeah.
into like indie developed, like one person team developed stuff, like that's
Yeah.
especially where
It's
it gets
endless.
interesting, right?
Mm.
So
It's especially with computers. Like it's one thing with like like NES or Super Nintendo to just have the entire database of games, which is very set and very known. But
yeah,
with computers, you keep discovering new stuff all the time because there's no official database of computer games, just whoever released stuff back in the day. So you get
yeah.
with what you can find.
You know, one of my favorite moments that recently happened, and it just makes me crack up even thinking about it, is when you were playing the game. I forget what game it was, but it was basically like you were on this terrain and it was like a square, and then you had to like kind of build up, like kind of like a sim game, and then you found out at the end it was made by someone named Tony O'Lowald, and then you
Oh
were
yeah,
like,
the Australian game.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then you were like, Tony O'Lowald. And everybody was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Who the heck is Tony O'Lowald? And I was just, I crack up every time I think about that. But the awesome thing is that, wow, Cody, thank you. um,
Very good pyramid there.
yeah, very, very good. Was that you had an interview with him via Twitter after that,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah, I've actually talked to him on Twitter before because a game I played a lot as a child, growing up, was like a obscure Macintosh and Windows 95 game called Prince of Destruction,
Yeah,
action RPG. So I talked to him a lot in the past, even back on his forum when I'm like, "What's the deal with Prince of Destruction?" And he told me this whole story,
yeah.
which is actually a pretty crazy story where he had a publishing deal with Bungie and then he said no to it, which he regrets and all this stuff. Anyway, fast forward all this time, and he made this Australian game that I played in high school in my school. It's like a government funded game,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find it for so long, and he developed the damn thing. And I asked him a lot of questions. He was happy to talk about it, which was fun.
That is really cool. Like that's the kind of stuff where it's like you'll never find that like anywhere, but just to be able to like see like okay, you went and then you were able to talk to him and then find out all this information about some obscure game that we never knew about, but now we know about it because of your awesome playthrough of it. Now it's going to live on the internet forever for other people to discover and play themselves, hopefully down the line.
Makes me very happy if people get enjoyment from it,
Yeah, for sure. For
because
sure.
it's just something I would have done in my own time anyway. It's just my fascination.
I mean, that's cool. I think that's really cool. So then is there a like how do you figure out what you're gonna play on your broadcast? Is it kind of just like, oh, I feel like playing this today, so that's what we're gonna play? How do you like figure it out?
Essentially, yes. I've gotten into a habit just recently because it just became too chaotic in my head to keep track of like everything I want to play across however much amount of time, like all like games from the 80s or 90s or 2000s or whatever.
Mhm.
And trying to keep it all in my head, especially by console, by computer, and I also do by country of origin because I'm always playing weird, like different country language games and stuff. So I've started. I used to just be random because there was so much, but now I'm trying to keep track of it a bit more so I remember because there's so many games where like I forget that I wanted to play it. It's
Yeah.
just there's so much that I get diverted by. But it's always a combination. It doesn't necessarily have to be obscure games. Like if I'm in the mood to play like a Mario game, I just play it. It's just whatever I feel like that is fun at the time. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, because you recently played through Wario Land, right?
Yeah, yeah, Wario Land, the first one. Yeah. I
Yeah.
had done the first two Super Mario Lands on Game Boy like a year or two ago. I always come back to things eventually, but
Yeah,
there's so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, and I saw you did
Yeah.
like I'm kind of mad I missed it, but you did Wizards and Warriors because that's one of my favorite games.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
on the
so
NES, yeah. And I've been meaning to do the sequel, but I'm kind of worried about the sequel. There's been a few days where I'm about to play it, and I'm like, it's gonna be like a 8-hour, 10-hour chaos stream of getting frustrated. So I might save it for a different time. I have to be in the mood properly for it.
right.
People have warned me how hard that is.
So okay, so then do you typically try to beat a game in one broadcast if you can?
It really depends because I have no set schedule. I just
Yeah.
I don't like, although it works for some streamers for sure. For me personally, I like to be fully set up for one game, and whether that game is 1 hour or 15 hours, like it just depends on the game. So some streams might be shorter than others, but sometimes I might just go out of control and stream for like 10 hours. And it happens every now and then. And I don't necessarily need to beat a game in one stream.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't do that with an RPG either.
Right.
But if I feel like I'm close and the enthusiasm is there, like we're getting into the final area and it's really hard and I've already been streaming for ages, but I want to finish it, then I often will. I'll push myself to do it because it's so fun. So
Yeah. I think I remember that happening for like some of the Resident Evil playthrough. It was like, oh, gotta get through Chris, gotta get through it. Just like, all right,
Yeah.
we're close to the end, and then you get to the end credits, and you're like, there's more. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's always more. Resident Evil 2 as well. Yeah, like
Yeah.
those are fun.
Good stuff. Okay, one story that I want to tell you about is, okay, as a kid growing up, right? Me and my dad and my cousin, we always played video games together. We did a lot of stuff together, played Dungeons and Dragons and stuff together. And we watched a lot of movies together. And something that my dad used to come up to me and do, he'd come up to me and be like, what is best in life? And I would have to know the rest. And me and my cousin, we have to recite the rest, to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, to hear the lamentation of their women. And then he'd be like,
good life lesson there.
yeah, that is
Conan
good.
teaches us all.
So whenever that alert play, because that's like one of my favorite things in your channel is like the alerts that people spam and like how people interact with, like TTS and like all that kind of stuff on your channel. It's like so much fun. I think that that's one of the things about your community that also makes it fun, is that chat is so much a part of it. I don't know, that's just really fun for me.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with all those. A lot of movie stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. And you all watch like a lot of movies together too. Like I noticed, like one clip that really struck me too was when you all were watching that anime of Frankenstein, the Frankenstein one. And the ending of that, I was just like,
I was just clicking through it. I've never seen it. The Japanese took Frankenstein to the next level there. It was pretty action packed and dramatic.
for real. Okay, so as somebody who, I'm like brand new to anime, I know like nothing about it. What is like maybe 2 or 3 that you would recommend me watch as somebody who like is new to it?
That's hard to say because I have my certain tastes, and anime, just like movies or whatever, can be so varied. I really like the old school stuff that was that had like the cool the action OVAs, the original video animations that Japan used to churn out so much in that very specific period.
Yeah.
And they were always focusing on niche things that were very action packed and whatnot. But in regards to what came out of that, I guess the most mainstream one, that's also basically the best one, would be Ninja Scroll. Now you have to watch Ninja Scroll.
Okay.
Unless you don't like constant like violence and all that type of stuff. So it depends on your tastes, what you want.
Okay.
But for me, Ninja Scroll, and yeah, stuff like that.
Okay. Ninja Scroll. I'm gonna write it
Ninja
down.
Scroll.
I'm gonna come back to you and I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you my my
the
review.
the
Yeah,
Ash
yeah.
review.
Yeah. Okay.
Just the artwork, the artistry that went into those is just stunning to me. It never gets old to me. Just incredible stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I really like that one we were watching the other day. It was like super grotesque. I forget the name of it. I think somebody said it in chat, but whew, man, that was something.
Genocyber.
Yeah. That was something.
Yeah, there's incredible stuff though. The visuals, the music in those. It's very similar to the games that Japan was making at the time, where they was going crazy with these ideas. I love that stuff.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so
Mm.
do you have any games or anything that you want to do on your channel that you haven't done yet that you're like really like, oh man, I really, really, really want to do this?
Apart from just playing more games, there was like I always want to stream. I did one stream last December of handheld LCD games.
Hmm.
Just so hard to stream if you're not just using an emulator like MAME to run them.
Yeah.
I was using all my real hardware ones.
Yeah.
I want to do more of that because I've got a bunch that I haven't shown before. So I always want to do those. And something I did many years back, and I'm yet to return to it,
Yeah.
is action, like physical action games that aren't video games. So there was, there's like all these. They're mostly of Japanese origin, like ball games where you're moving a ball through an obstacle course. And one of the
Oh,
ones that got really popular outside Japan was in Japan, it was called Athletic Land. It had a bunch of different names outside Japan in different regions. I know I had it as a kid, but I forget what it was called here. But one of the names for it was Screwball Scramble, I think.
okay.
Some people in chat know it. Stuff like that. There's like tons of those, and I used to collect them. And streaming those with the camera on there is so fun. So I got to do that again. That physical stuff. That's
Yeah.
not just the video games. That's always super fun and unique to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you definitely wouldn't find a lot of that on Twitch. It would be super
yeah,
fascinating. And I'm sure it would also
yeah, and
translate to a good like YouTube video as well.
yeah, exactly. I've always been meaning to make more YouTube stuff, but I'm getting diverted by other things constantly. One of these days, I will get to YouTube and
Have you
do
ever
kind of.
I'm sorry
There
to
you
cut
go
you off.
ahead.
Oh. Oh, we just got a
It's
raid from Anne. Hi, Anne.
oh, hello, Anne.
I was gonna
It's
say,
playing a PC 98 game, I believe.
oh, was she? Oh, nice. Which
Shoot,
is another thing that I
just
would
shoot.
have never found out if I didn't find your channel. I never knew what PC 98 and all that stuff
Yeah,
was.
the old Japanese computer games, because the West obviously had DOS and Amiga and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
had their own stuff. NEC was going crazy with all their computers back then. Not just NEC, Sharp and Fujitsu as well, but NEC were the main ones. And the games that came out of that specific scene are so unique in their own regard. Is so completely unique to all the NES and Super Nintendo stuff. So
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, what I was going to ask you before was have you ever done like a room tour or like just showed people like the stuff that's in your room or like all of the stuff that's in your collection cuz I know you've done like unboxing stuff before. So,
yeah.
have you ever done anything like that?
I've never done a tour. I've done like I don't have a proper camera to do that. I have to get a decent camera. There's just a wide webcam here, but I've just shown around this little room where my computer is, where there's currently about 20 huge boxes here filled with Windows 95 games. But I've
Wow.
never done a proper tour. No,
Okay, that might be interesting. Might
I
be
I
interesting.
have to look into that. I've
Yeah.
been tempted a few times to get a camera where I can do IRL streams and stuff, but
Hmm.
hasn't happened yet.
You
We'll
know,
see.
I don't know what kind of phone you have, but with me, sometimes I have an iPhone and I use what might work for Android too. There's this app
Mm.
called Droid OBS and you could just
Oh
hook
yeah, I
your
should probably just use my phone. Yeah.
yeah, you could just hook your
Yeah.
phone up and it'll be like a source for OBS and there you go, you have a walking camera.
I should do that. Just use my phone. The easiest idea.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, you need some ideas, I got you. I will
Like
definitely help you out if you
the
need
phone.
anything. Oh my gosh, IRL Nando stream, wow. And then speaking of like
Some
that
IRL
IRL
stream.
stuff, and now that Anne is here too, because in the Dank magazine there is a section that Macaw wrote about the Sengoku pedometer, which is really really
I
cool.
like the little picture of the macaw there.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. It's so good. And there's like all like it's an amazing information breakdown of like your experience with this pedometer. What was playing this thing like?
That was I did that December, January. last December, January. I finished the whole thing. It's like a it's I mean, I'm trying to remember it now. I haven't thought about it in so long. I haven't used it, but it keeps you motivated to walk. If you want to get a certain amount of steps in every day, that thing keeps you motivated, because if you don't do enough steps, your army gets attacked and you die. You,
Oh,
you have to keep walking so that your army gets buff, so that you can win these battles when you get attacked. I remember when I first tried it, and I was only doing like half the quota of steps every day, and
yeah.
I was sitting there eating food with my friends, and then suddenly my army, it started making all this noise. My army got attacked, and I got killed, and I game over, and I had to
Ah.
start the whole thing again. So the next time I started it, I was doing like twice the amount of steps, and I just destroyed the game.
That is the goal. Always got to destroy all the games. I love it.
Pedometer has to be destroyed. You just have to do enough steps.
That is so funny. Yo, you know what? One thing I've always been curious about is your intro song. Why that song? What is the significance? And why does it always get stuck in my head?
Well, it gets stuck in your head because it's probably the greatest intro song of all time there. I remember for some reason from a website called Yes Asia, which is probably still around. I was like, this Chinese cartoon looks awesome. I'm going to import this VCDs, and I bought these VCDs of Chuancho.
Yeah.
What's I call it Chuancho, but the actual name of the show I think is Feng Sheng Bang Chuan Chi,
Yeah.
however you pronounce that in Chinese, based on Feng Sheng Bang, which is some Chinese legend thing, some myth thing.
Yeah.
Um, and that song was always stuck in my head. The content of the show was hilarious. Like, I actually bought that back when I was in high school, and me and my friends used to watch it and just be on the floor laughing because it was the funniest show. Like, every character in the show has the most absurd weapons. There's a guy that's got a flag and he waves air at people and they get blown away. There's a dude with a beehive and he fires bees at people holding a beehive. It's amazing. So that show stuck in my head. So I'm like, I got to use this as an intro song. It's good.
Yeah. That sounds like the first show I should watch. I really should watch that. That sounds great.
Chinese people have uploaded the whole series to YouTube. It's like all 120 episodes or something.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have to look in that. I'm look into that too. Okay. So I also want to ask you about your channel because like I feel like we don't get to hear this kind of thing from you a lot, and I'd love to learn about your approach to being a broadcaster on Twitch and maybe things that you've learned, and because you've been on Twitch for how many years, like 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, I've been taking it seriously for about 4 years, but I was around maybe about 3 years before then, I guess, maybe. Yeah.
So,
Before then, back 10 years ago, I was on live stream for a very short amount of time
whoa.
with one viewer. One viewer.
Oh my gosh. That so things have definitely changed since then. So like how have they changed for you from since like you started to now, and is there any like important things that you've learned that you would love to share with people who broadcast or just love your channel?
I mean, I just started. It was just a hobby. It's just a fun thing that I did for many years. Never took it seriously. It was just like It's fun to show people stuff, but also it was good for me because, especially when I would stream foreign language games, there's always someone in chat that seemed to know and could help you out. And so not only was it entertaining to show people stuff that was extremely niche or obscure, but it was helpful for me and it was fun. So I'd rather do that than just play the games myself. So I fell into a habit of doing that as a hobby. It wasn't until years and years later that some people were like, "Yeah, you could monetize your channel, you know?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like, it's like, yeah, you should have a donate button and stuff. This was like before partner and all that. This is a different age of Twitch as well.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I never put a donation button until suddenly, I still remember the day me and Lord BBH, we got partnered on the same day.
Oh.
And at that point, I'm like, okay, I'll put a donation button and let people subscribe as well and all this stuff. They can do that. I still didn't take it seriously for like a couple, what, a year or two after that. Because it wasn't like a main form of income at all. But
Yeah.
now it's sort of more and more has become that, to
Mhm.
where I am like full time doing all this stuff, and it just sort of fell into it.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like it's probably a lot of people that asks about it. It's just, well, you can't. It's hard. I guess it's hard. It's very weird with Twitch. You don't really, I guess, want to go into it wanting to make money in
Yeah.
that regard, the monetary side, because if you're not enthusiastic to just play games regardless of how much money you make, then you're gonna just get burnt out, and it's gonna be like torture instead of fun.
Yeah.
Um, so you have to fall into it, and then it's what you want to do because it's fun and it's enjoyable. That's all I can say, really.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely the approach for me is to just kind of like be like, okay, accept it for what it is in the moment, like, and then kind of like adapt because it's never reliable, right? Like you're just like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
1 month it could be this, 1 month it could be that. I don't know what it could be. Or like, let's say I need to take a break, for example, or just, like maybe I'm just tired and I just don't want to stream for a little while. But like, those are the things that people usually have top of mind that they're like nervous about. Like, if I step away, what's going to happen? And my sub's going to dip,
yeah.
like all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, the subs will always dip if you leave for a while. That's just how Twitch is. But you just have to not worry about it. I reckon. At the end of the day, if you have to disconnect yourself and not worry about that. That's why it's way too much pressure. If you're going into Twitch wanting to make an income, like it's too much pressure. I get you have to more like ease yourself into it slowly, if
yeah.
that's what you want. Otherwise, you just stream for fun and just have fun showing people games or playing games, and that's it. I guess
Yeah.
it was just weird for me because I fell into it completely. I don't know how to explain it to people. It's so strange.
Yeah. I definitely agree too. Like I never would have imagined for myself like focusing on it 100%. Like I've always kind of, I have a degree in graphic design. Like I worked in like
Mm.
corporate offices all my life. Like I've done like lots of different things, but then once I kind of found it and was like, "Oh, wait, like not only can you make money from subs, but you can also do like sponsored content. You can do like all kinds of stuff or just like having the ability to be autonomous and kind of focus on things that I love also makes me feel happy. And I think that's kind of why I focus on it too. And I feel that from
Yeah.
your channel for sure. Like, I think one thing that I really love about watching your channels, you could feel how much you love what you're doing, bar none.
I guess yeah. You have to. I guess you have to enjoy it. Like one of the strange things, I guess, is that I never ever had a schedule. I mean, I keep a schedule in the sense that I'm always sort of live at around the same time.
Mm.
And I stream most days, but I don't actually have a schedule because some days I might just not want to play a game. I mean, it never really happens, but some days I might just not want to play a game, or I don't want to dedicate to doing this if like I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
But not having the schedule makes it as if um, it's like easier to do it just constantly just constantly. So I'm not stressed with any kind of schedule, but at the same time I'm streaming most days anyway, so it's kind of like I feel very free. It's very freeing.
That's good. I mean, I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that's definitely like, if I'm doing something and then it feels like an obligation, you're absolutely right. It's like, oh my God, I don't even want to look at it. But yeah, I think that's the good thing too. It's like even though you are pretty, consistent with your schedule, like it
Mm.
does make it easier, like if you are consistent, but like it's nice to know that you can kind of like do whatever you want and then still be like, okay, you know what? It's working and I'm happy and that's really all that matters. So that's
Mm.
cool.
I mean, I guess it requires some discipline,
Yeah.
but it comes naturally, I guess. Some people are saying is my mic messed up?
It's
Hopefully, it's fine. I don't
it's so for me sometimes I think it's Chrome. I think it's Chrome. So
know.
Chrome has like a built-in noise gate or like a
Uh,
built-in s- something that like if you peak, it'll automatically start to lower it. So yeah,
So
I'm
I
noticing.
should be further away. For those playing at home, I only installed Chrome like 10 minutes ago or whatever to 30 minutes ago because I needed Chrome for this chat. So
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, there is some setting that's default that's messed up. My apologies for
No, I'm sorry.
that.
I definitely thought that we worked it out because we did test this before. I thought we worked it out, but
Just keep in mind, whatever might cut out, that's the best stuff I'm saying. And you miss it forever. The best stuff.
wait, what the heck browser were you using before? Wow. Okay, and
Firefox. It is Firefox.
um also chat, if you all have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat and I would be more than happy to read it out. Macaw's Captain True. Can you tell me about Captain Trueno? I know nothing about Captain Trueno. Like zero, other than
Um,
the fact that you are probably the number one speedrunner of it that I watch.
no, I'm not the number one speedrunner.
Oh,
Some members of my community have took it upon themselves to learn that game far better than me. But I play it every now and then as a form of decompressing from a particularly rough game. I guess Captain Trueno, I don't know much about it, but it's a Spanish superhero of some kind. There was like a Captain Trueno movie released in Spain like 6 years ago or something. But the actual series is from like the 60s or 70s. There's probably Spanish people in chat that know far more about it than me. But there's three friends, I guess. There's Capitan Trueno himself, and he's got a hunchback friend, and he's got this huge dude friend. That's all I know. That's all I know. And they fight Satan in the game that I play. That's it.
and wants to know how many factory lasagnas you can inhale in one night.
I haven't eaten a factory lasagna in a long time. It's been a long time since I subjugated my body to the $5 2 kilogram lasagnas, which are very good value, but they're not especially good on your body. So I had to cut it out.
That's
As much as I want to return to that world.
Oh man. I remember the birthday cake and it was like, "Oh, gotta eat the birthday cake and
Oh, it was two birthday cakes.
two
Two birthday
cakes."
cakes.
Oh man. Lucky, lucky. All right. So, I turned the music down because I want to get into talking cuz we're like halfway through the hour already. I want to talk about the game that you developed. The amazing game that you developed. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Um, for some bizarre reason, I I was like, okay, that I mean, I did a the game is Kevin Costner's Waterworld, based off Kevin Costner's Waterworld from The Simpsons, the fake game that Millhouse plays for about 10 seconds. And I remember I did a marathon where I was playing all the games based on Waterworld, the movie. And while I was doing that, I'm like, it'd be so awesome to make that game a reality that Millhouse plays because it's so attractive to me. Even though most people probably see that and they're just like, it's just funny, it's just a joke. But to me, I didn't see it as just a joke. I saw it as like the potential of what the game could be because it looks like an old Amiga game that I'm a fan of. I guess it was also on the Genesis with a worse version, Sword of Sodan. With a giant character that's just moving sideways, it just looks so stupid,
Yes.
but appealing. Now, so I just took that concept and I just made it a proper game. I just decided to go crazy. And originally I was going to make a small thing, but it just kept going and going. And before I knew it, I had like a proper game that was taking people like an hour to finish. And yeah, it's kind of surreal to me that I made that now.
And there are people who try to get all the endings too.
Oh yeah, there's I just kept adding. Even once I finished, I kept adding all the secrets and stuff. I almost made it like an adventure game instead of just an action game at that point. Um, and yeah, that just led to all the secret content at the end, the secret endings, all that.
I love it. I love it. I haven't gotten a chance to play it myself. This is and if you all don't know, this is you actually having to put in was it $20 worth of quarters?
$10, 40,
10,
40 quarters, 40
40.
quarters. So it's $10 for each play.
Oh my
I had to
gosh.
replicate that joke because that's the main joke of The Simpsons.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I was like, we're gonna have a full game beyond that screen in The Simpsons.
So yeah, definitely download the game on itch.io. Check it out. It's free. It's awesome. Um, I haven't done a playthrough of it myself yet, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But um, I just think that this is so freaking cool. So yeah, I'm gonna do a full playthrough of this because I mean it's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna like hold on, wait, okay, game over. That's the joke. That's the joke. So I wanted to
It's
make
a
sure we.
joke, and then you can keep playing beyond that point.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. How have I not played it yet? Listen, I know I'm slacking. I'm slacking. I really need to get to it. I know. So, all right. I'm that is really really cool. I can't believe now I'm talking to Macaw the dev. Okay. So, let's see. You know what I wanted to ask you too? Like, do you ever get a chance to kind of like look through your clips and then just like relive some of the best, most funny moments on your channel? Like, have you ever done that with your Twitch chat?
I haven't done that. No, I haven't done that on my streams. Looking over. No, I've never done that. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, yeah. It
I've
might
never
be
gone
fun.
through my top clips or anything.
I mean, like sometimes I think it might be fun just to kind of like relive like some of the like most fun, funny moments. Cause like, I don't know, like when I feel like that's like also a good way to bond with chat. Like, do you ever do anything to like, like any like kind of like, community type stuff or things like with your community or channel?
Now that I think about it, I guess I haven't really.
Hmm.
Chat is just there. Chat's there on the side to taunt me as I do whatever I'm doing at any given time.
You know, it's
I really should. I'd do something.
Yeah, no, I think well, I mean, honestly, like I kind of feel like that's like the second part of the channel that makes it really fun for me. Just like your reaction to things and then chat's reaction to your reaction, it like cracks me up every time. It's like the most
Reaction
fun.
loops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I should go through my top clips. I've never done that before. There's probably a whole bunch of stuff I forget that happened.
And then it might remind you too of what games you've already played and be like, oh, okay, wait, I thought I played this game. Oh, I was gonna do a whole play,
Exactly.
and I already did it. I already did
Another idea. You're giving me all the ideas today.
it. Okay, is there any game that you would not touch? Like you just will not play it because either it's like broken or, you know, not fun or like any kind of style or genre or particular game that you wouldn't touch?
Usually everything I would play if it's interesting enough. It doesn't really matter what it is. Like there could be some golf games that are beyond just something that is going to be kind of intriguing, like Mario Golf. But if you take like a more normal approach to a golf game, a more realistic approach, where most people will be like, "That's boring," unless you're really in a golf. It can always be attractive to me in some way, just depending on what it does and what it is. It's always game dependent. So really, anything has a chance. But I guess you aren't going to see me grind out 4 million hours of an MMO to get better gear, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I like games that are I like different experiences, shorter experiences. I mean, you can play an RPG and stuff, of course, but in terms of, I guess it's really just MMOs. Um, Nothing, MMOs can be good. I've played like Ultima Online back in the day. I played all that stuff. I played a teensy bit of World of Warcraft, but
Yeah.
in general, those games, I guess, just turn into very much. I think the only way that could really be entertaining for my audience, anyway. Of course, there's many gigantic MMO streamers,
Yeah.
but for me, or what I'm interested in, something like that would probably be only interesting if we did like a role playing character in a role playing server and went and started having conversations with people. That would be funny, but beyond beyond that, I think it'd be boring just to be grinding.
World of Warcraft role play
Yeah,
server. Yeah. Like, I mean, you could probably do like EverQuest and get away with it. That's like super retro at
yeah,
this point. Or
yeah.
what's that
Any
one?
any role playing, like really in depth role playing MMO stuff that might be funny just to mess with. But even then, I'd probably get bored within a few days. I have to move on. I don't really see myself sticking with one thing for
Yeah.
exorbitant quantities of time. I'm always I almost treat games like movies to a degree sometimes. I just
Yeah.
need to keep seeing different things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's just my taste.
The best moments are when Macaw realized he wasted 1 to 4 hours because he didn't hit spacebar in some random spot.
Yeah. The Korean Resident Evil clone where I didn't realize there was a run button and the dude was walking so slow. Was that called? I think that was called Bloody Aria.
Oh
Yeah, that
man.
was a game that was only released in Korea.
Oh man. Oh gosh, that sounds funny. That like I swear to you, when you like didn't save in Hexen the other day and then realized you
No.
had to do that whole I was laughing for like a good 5 minutes. I'm sorry, but I was.
The worst instance of that happening was when I was playing this old Japanese computer game from like the 89 or something, and I hadn't saved. It was like really slow and arduous, and it was just torturous to play, and I hadn't saved it in like 4 hours, and then I died, and that was just the clip's still there. It was for Tritorn Final, the game, but I hadn't saved in that long, and that was just nothing's come close to that.
Oh man. Oh man. That does sound painful. That does. You know what I also want to show you too? The day that you streamed this game, right? I remember I had went to I think it was like a convention or something, and I literally saw it the next day after you played it was Lester the Unlikely, which is why I bought it. It was literally the day after.
I like it. People hate it. I think it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good.
And that's the thing, like, I asked people about this game too. Like, I've asked people, have you played this? And people be like, oh no, that game is crap. Like, that game is shit. Don't play it. And I'm just like, well, I watched Macaw play it. It looked kind of fun. So I went out and bought it. Because I saw Macaw play it.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
So
I thought it was pretty good. It's got very good. It was very appealing to me. I guess it's easy to make fun of just because of the goofy nature of the premise, but that's the whole joke of the game, really. But the actual execution of the graphics and everything was actually very solid to me. It's almost like a Prince of Persia type of game with the Prince of Persia style controls, but I actually thought it was pretty cool. Very tough. Can get frustrating because you have to start the whole game if you run out of continues, if I remember right. But if you got the patience for it, it can be very good.
Have you ever considered doing like game reviews written or video style anywhere, or have you ever done anything like that before? Because I think that would be really cool to like see.
I might have written some game reviews back in the day on various sites. There might be something on Shmups forum, like back like ages ago. But no, in terms of that, it's really just whenever I get around to making YouTube videos. YouTube videos would be more like I don't want to just upload my Twitch clips.
Yeah.
I want to, if I make YouTube content, I want to make it specifically talking to the audience,
Yeah.
talking about a specific subject in detail. Because even though a lot of this information gets said by me often on streams, streaming is not the best format to present that kind of information, because streaming is more like you can get caught up in just being jokey and with the chat and all this stuff. Every now and then I'd go into a little rant about lore and stuff, or maybe I do it quite a bit because I can't help it. But
Yeah.
in terms of that information staying so that people can refer to it or enjoy it like as an episode of a show almost, you have to make YouTube videos for that. So
Yeah.
I would do that if I didn't keep distracting myself with absurd projects like making Kevin Costner's Waterworld.
Do you think
while full-time streaming.
Do you think you're ever gonna like work on any other games? Or like, okay, if you had like somebody gave you like $1 million tomorrow, like what is your ultimate game that you would make?
I wouldn't need $1 million because the ultimate game that I would make is being made. I just can't reveal anything about it.
Wait a minute. Did we just get a possible like, oh my gosh, announcement that Macaw's working on a game?
I've randomly like teased on my chat. I'm like, chat, I'm making the ultimate game. I'm doing it. And chat's just sort of like taunting me as usual. But I mean, I'm not going to reveal a single thing. Like I put myself under too much stress with the release date of Kevin Costner's Waterworld.
Yeah.
So anything else, it has to be it has to be just under wraps. I'm not really going to talk about it. Focus on full-time streaming. But any new releases I do, it's not going to be like another freeware game. It's going to be like a Steam release for like $15 or something. Like, be a commercial thing, providing I can actually make something of that caliber. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this. That's going to be really freaking awesome. All right. Don't stress Macaw out by asking him when is this game coming out, chat. You know it's going to start.
Coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's coming out tomorrow.
We're going to start to get like the TTS spam. Macaw, when is game? When is game? Oh my god.
Eventually I will tease it slowly more and more. At some point I want to get a Patreon.
Yeah.
The Patreon I don't expect big things out of the Patreon, but anyone that does want to support the game development stuff, the focus is always full-time streaming. Any other stuff is like in my other hours. So it can be hard and rough, especially like when I made Waterworld within 3 months. That made me borderline go insane with the amount of work from full-time streaming and then working on that game for about 6 hours plus a day.
Wow.
But so I'm just trying to balance myself a little bit, really. And maybe I'll get a Patreon eventually, but I still wouldn't fully reveal the game. I'll just have it as like a looming thing. It's only when it's all ready to go that I'll actually reveal its name and all this stuff. So.
Okay. All right. So since you play like a lot of games, obscure, well-known, whatever, like, is there a game that you wish more people knew about that you've played and you just like, oh my god, I wish more people played this game and that's why I want to showcase it on my channel?
I mean, it's always like, you always wish just for the sake of me watching Twitch, you always wish people would be playing like this. Maybe no specific game necessarily, but more of a certain kind of thing, like more old Japanese PC games, PC 88, PC 98, these Japanese computer systems that have so many games on them, or even just certain like DOS games that are kind of obscure and stuff. Like anything like that really stirs up my interest and plenty of other people's interest as well. I mean, he never really. There's no end. Even if you just focus on DOS games, old PC games, it never ends. There's always new stuff being unearthed and distributed, even to this day. Some of the stuff I'm buying, even I have to buy it because there's no downloads you can get on the internet or anything. So I mean, there's a couple of games behind here that you can't even find download of. Probably these Taiwanese DOS games. So
I mean, like I know for me, I'm big into Amiga, and I know people are still developing Amiga games to this day. So
the new stuff coming out. There's a lot of amazing stuff coming out. As well, like just for new developed stuff, let alone old stuff that you can't find. One of these days, I want to find my Amiga Holy Grail of Astar Land in Flammen, or whatever it's called, this Swiss developed medieval strategy game that no one's ever been able to find.
Oh my gosh. I was gonna ask you that too. Is there like a game that you're like, this is the game I want in my collection. I need it. So that would be your game.
In terms of lost games or games that aren't anywhere to get at the moment, I break those down by country as well. So for Japan, there's a bunch of old vending machine games I'm yet to get my hands on. The only way you can get them is by looking at auction sites every day, and hopefully they appear one day. And then when it comes to Taiwan, there's this lineup of 1989 Taiwanese DOS games that ran in monochrome that there's like 6 of them or so. That was right after Taiwan got rid of martial law and these games came through, and none of them except one is distributed on the internet. The Taiwanese distributed this one called Destroy, which is this awesome like fighting game, but there's these other ones that look amazing that are not there, and I've never found them on auction site. They're too rare. So those are for Taiwan, and then so on and so forth for every country. There's like this insane Castlevania clone from Korea
Yeah.
that came out as recent as 2000. It's not even like 80s or anything, and that's never been found. So there's a lot.
What? That is, see,
Yeah.
like I would have never known about this world of like other games that are out there that are awesome like this. I would have never known. So that's really cool. Like I feel like I learned so much just hearing about it from you. That's really cool. Have you ever gone to any of these countries like Japan,
No.
Taiwan, anything? Would you ever
Oh,
want to go to see what you could
I've,
find?
I've been to Japan once. That's the only time I've been overseas. I went to Japan once.
Oh.
I'll probably go to Japan again. My good friend Trap lives in Japan now, and I'm constantly fueling him with obscure PC88 stuff. So if I ever go there again, I'll meet up with him, and
Yeah.
who knows what will happen. But I do want to go, and I mean, if I went to Taiwan or something, there's 0% chance of me finding those games. Same for Korea. like
Oh.
I wouldn't know what to do. They don't have really retro shops around there for that stuff. So there's
Oh.
just as much chance finding those games here as there is there, really. So
I see.
I would like to go to Taiwan and eat food, though. The
Oh.
food is very
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
good.
Definitely. Yeah, I went to Tokyo, I think it was like 2016 for my birthday for
Yeah.
like a couple of weeks. And
Oh,
that was
what
the
a birthday.
oh my gosh, yeah, it was amazing. I went by myself and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go to all the shops I want to go to. But that was the first thing I did. The first thing I did was I went to 7-Eleven and I got some natto and I think I got some vodka in a can because you could buy like
Yeah.
vodka in a can and like all that kind of stuff there. I was like, what is this? But it was good.
Yeah, you can get lost there, just and all the retro shops in Japan there. It's very strong still. That whole scene, arcades are not what they used to be, but they're still very interesting there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that was the thing too. Like I went to Aki, I went to Akihabara, I went to like all those
mm,
places. Like that was the so fascinating thing to me. I found a mall. The mall was like 9 stories high, and in each floor it was dedicated to one particular type of thing. So one floor was like
yeah,
all model planes and model trains, and like if you like to build models, and one floor was all anime, one floor was all video games. Like it was like
one floor was all 18 plus PC games.
18 plus PC. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. But yeah, it was really cool, and it like the
Yeah.
specialty shop. But that's the thing too. I wonder like if I were to go back now because I heard that I mean like how expensive. I don't know if it's like this in Australia for you, but like trying to buy retro video games is so expensive here. Like
it, it's inflated. The inflation since a couple of years ago has been crazy. The inflation is crazy. Well, the prices of retro games have gone up more recently in the last year or so than any other time
yeah,
that I can recall. So things might drop at some point, but in terms of, I've been noticing that like the last year, I've found the most lost Japanese PC games that I was always searching for. There's been dozens and dozens of them put up by sellers because everyone in Japan is currently throwing up everything they've got in an unprecedented way compared to 10 years ago when I used to look at auction sites, because they're all just wanting to make that money quickly in this period. It's just, so all that stuff has just been going crazy at the moment. And that's only the real scene I've been following. I haven't been
yeah,
following eBay too closely. I buy
yeah,
some DOS and Amiga games on eBay. That's about it.
yeah.
Um, I'm guessing everything's going up a fair bit though.
Yeah, like the last time I went to New York, which was in May, I saw somebody was selling, I think like Harvest Moon for like $500 on Super Nintendo. I was like,
Yeah.
anyway, so
The
yeah,
it, when it I'm still in this world of just mostly buying like computer games and stuff, which are still they're not the mainstream, so the prices are going up, but it's affordable. But when it comes to Super Nintendo and stuff, if you're buying like English Super Nintendo RPGs or whatnot, the prices on those insanity.
yeah,
It's good luck trying to get every game you want at a. Well, I guess you could buy cart only. Maybe you get away with card only for certain games.
Yeah, or some people are okay with like repros and stuff, but
Oh yeah, you can always get those as well.
I mean, I don't mind a repro as long as the person tells me it's a repro.
Oh yeah, they got to tell you. You can't if they're telling you it's authentic, then you got a problem there.
Yeah. Yeah, some people are or like it's like they won't tell you unless you ask. And I've had that happen to me before. Like
Oh,
I wanted to buy Metal Gear Solid 1 cuz I never owned
yeah.
it. I never played it. I remember you played through it and that was like
Oh,
such a great.
a lot of fun with those games.
Yeah. So I wanted to buy it and the guy had replaced the jewel case and he was charging $60 for it. But when I was like, I asked him, I was like, can I open it up and check it out? And like the case was like not opening right all the way. Like it was like really stiff. And I was like, did you
Yeah.
change this out? And he was like, yes. And I was like, no. Give me the other one. Because he had another one right next to it, which was in the original case because I could tell like the difference. And it was
Oh,
like,
they're trying to sell you the bootleg one.
yeah, it was $40. And I was like, come on now, what you think this is? But
Can't
anyway.
do that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any Sharp X68000 stuff on your channel?
Oh, a lot, all the time.
Do you have a favorite game from that?
Oh, a favorite Sharp X68000 game.
Or one that you just had like a lot of fun playing on your channel?
There was some shocking revelation X68000 games we've played. If I quickly give me half a second.
Sure.
Over here, I should have. Here we go. This, and this. Here's three examples. Three examples here. This is. Where is it here? This is objectively, if I can get my wires not destroyed. This Guria Liwad, however you pronounce it, amazing cover art, terrible, garbage. The worst X68000 game. This is hilariously bad. I cannot believe this was released for full price. That was terrible. One of the most exciting streams I've ever had was when we all experienced Signatory, which takes place in New York City with this threat of the Nazis, and it says it's a speculative adventure. It basically turns into Rambo, where you get machine guns and you're fighting Nazis. You have to track down. It is out of control. And then there's this, and then there's Triton Final, which is not as bad as the other game with the anime girl and the cover art, but this was the one where I lost. I didn't save for 4 hours, and this game's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's an action RPG, but this is really infamous in Japan. This is a really big cult meme game because of how impossible it is to play. But there's some sharp X68000 games right there.
Wow, that I did not expect that. That was really, really cool. And you know what makes it really sad too? The artwork on the box is so good.
Oh yeah, the artworks are always so good. That's a common thing with retro games. It's kind of been diluted for modern games because modern games you have more of things. I mean, this cover art's not that bad, but it's always like the one character. I don't know. I've talked about this before. It's like a bunch of scientists at some point got into a lab and discovered what kind of cover arts for modern games are the most appealing to every type of person.
Yeah.
Whereas this type of stuff is like niche for the enthusiast. This is like the average mainstream. Everyone can look at this and maybe buy it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's some kind of chemical formula to make people buy a game. If you release like an RPG these days with the DOS style, old school Dungeons and Dragons hand-drawn artwork that look amazing,
yeah,
it's probably a bit niche for the mainstream. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Maybe, man. But I know if I was gonna gravitate towards a game, it would definitely have been the one with the anime girl on the front. Like, I just think that one's awesome.
It's an amazing cover art. I did buy it. I was shocked when I was playing it, but I bought the damn thing.
Oh my gosh. I really liked your broadcast too of that princess, that girl game. It was like the love romance game, and then you kind of breeze through it
Oh yeah,
with the
yeah. There's it's stuff like that. The dating games and stuff they always creep through with all the stuff that I have here.
yeah.
Dating, anime dating always returns at some point.
All right. Well, I know that you've got to stream soon. We've already been talking
I'm
for
in
like
no
an hour.
rush, but
Listen, it's up to you. I mean, I don't mind talking if you want to just
if you
like
got
talk
any
about
questions,
games.
I'm not in any rush, so ask questions now.
Oh,
Ask questions, chat.
chat,
What do you want to know?
chat, what do you want to know? Please, I will scroll up and see some of the questions that were there before because there was some pretty funny stuff. I saw Tom write something funny in
Lord
there.
Retrograde Tom
I
shows his
know.
presence.
I know. Lots of cool people in the chat. When is Sorcertain playthrough? Sorcertain. What is that?
Sorcerian.
Oh, Sorcerian. Okay, what is that?
Sorcerian. I've got all the Sorcerian somewhere here. I guess the closest one would be. What's this? This is Sorcerian Forever. This is the sequel to Sorcerian.
Ooh.
There it is. There's the sequel. This is actually an extremely unpopular game in Japan these days, but the original Sorcerian was the most popular. Oh, I've got my cord stuck.
Oh no!
The original Sorcerian was the most popular PC game in Japan in the 80s. It was on the best-selling lists in Japan basically from the time it was released until like the end of 1989. So it was like 2 years. It was in the bestseller charts. They released about 15 expansion packs for it.
Yeah.
In the 80s in Japan. Sorcerian was an all-encompassing game. It's basically a 2D side-scrolling action RPG. But I'm a huge fan of these games, but there's certain ones I don't want to play, and some people give me a hard time teasing me to play the Dreamcast one, which looks awful.
Oh, I see. Now, okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Also, I just want to say thank you to Herringstone for that raid. Thank you so much for the raid.
Thank you, Herringstone.
Welcome in. Somebody asked in chat, I've always been curious, but very afraid to ask this because I'm like, oh,
now I'm afraid.
Now I was like, I'm gonna look like such a noob, but why do people spam 55555 in your chat? Like,
I think I actually had to ask chat this at some point because I didn't understand why people were fixated on it. But apparently it originated from when I streamed an Amiga game called Green 5.
Okay.
Which was not a boxed Amiga game. It was like a shareware indie Amiga game or something, and it's an amazing game. Kind of like a Prince of Persia clone, really weird sci-fi Prince of Persia clone. I think it came from that. I can't even really remember. I guess people were spamming 5s there because it's called Green 5. We couldn't work out what the 5 meant in that title.
Because one time I spammed it, and then somebody was like, "Ash, don't do that. It's rude." And I was like, "What? Did it mean something bad?" That's why I was afraid to ask. And then I was like, "Oh, were they trolling me?"
Probably you got trolled. You got trolled. I mean, definitely some people in chat are like, I've had it up to here with these 5s. No one spam any more 5s. But usually it doesn't go on too long. Usually it calms down. Chat. I let chat moderate themselves. Chat moderates themselves. I don't really have much of a grasp on my chat at all.
Okay, sorry. That was really funny. Okay. I had no idea. I didn't know the etiquette of 5.
I know just as little as you. So.
Okay.
Only chat knows the real answer.
Somebody said, oh, okay. What is, this is a question for me. What is the ultimate macaw big food must love? Like, this is like my go-to, I love this big food. Let's go. We're going to have big food dinner time.
Bucket of fried chicken. Or getting like tons of avocados and making like a massive thing of guacamole and getting Doritos.
Man. Okay. That sounds...
Those are the go-tos.
Yes. I love, oh my God, KFC. Is it specifically KFC?
Well, we don't have much fried chicken in Australia. This like mainly what we have is KFC, and I don't really like KFC unless it's specifically we have it here in Australia. It's the hot and spicy fried chicken,
Ah.
which is completely different and way better from the normal. And even the hot and spicy is only in Queensland, one of the states here, and not anywhere else in Australia.
Oh.
So very specific. If it's not that specifically, I don't really care about KFC, but that specifically is very good. When it comes
Oh.
to other fried chicken places, it's very hit or miss because places always close down every 2 seconds. It's not really common to have just fried chicken places around here, except for Korean fried chicken, which is everywhere. Korean fried chicken's absolutely everywhere.
Okay, I love Korean fried chicken. Whenever I go back home to New York, I always make sure to go to K-Town and get some Korean fried chicken and like, some daikon and all that stuff. It's like so good. Wait,
Yeah, we
somebody
got a
asked.
bunch of
No, go ahead, go ahead.
we got a bunch of Korean fried chicken buffets here, but every time you sit down for one of those, it's just demolition. Like that's you're going to annihilate
Oh
your
yeah.
body after that. So I have to be careful.
Yeah. I always feel incredibly guilty after going to a place like that and then eating like 10 wings. You're like, "Oh, why did I do
No,
this?"
10 is just the beginning for me. Last time I went to a Korean fried chicken buffet, there was no end to that. Plus the
Oh.
garlic bread and chips, and it just doesn't end. It
Well,
doesn't
if you
end.
ever make it to New York or the United States at some point in time, my personal favorite is Popeyes.
I've been desperate to have some of this American. One of these days, I'm gonna go to America,
Yeah,
and I want Popeyes. I want Popeyes.
yeah, it's good. It's really good. Okay, Mike asks, Fractal Mind Mike wants to know, what is the greatest parody game you've streamed?
The greatest parody game I've streamed. Kevin Costner's Water What? No, I don't know how many I've streamed. Like, I haven't streamed that Mist one. It
Yeah.
starts with the P. Haven't streamed that. What have I even streamed? Just off the top of my head, if I'm gonna go for a parody one, it would have to be something very obscure that everyone's probably not gonna know. But there's a Super Nintendo game called Rejoice.
Uh-huh.
Aresa Okoku no Kanata, Far Side of the Aretha Kingdom. Rejoice is a game I've been obsessed with ever since I was a kid. It's a very good action RPG on the Super Nintendo, which basically parodies a lot of other games, including Secret of Mana and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It starts with a boss fight against a gigantic ice cube that sings Vanilla Ice's "Ice Ice Baby" as you fight him. In text form, no, not in voiced dialogue, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
There's about half the game is about, well, not half, but a big chunk of the game is about finding this key to unlock your friend from a dungeon. And when you finally get the key, it doesn't work in the keyhole and all this nonsense. There's a whole bunch of parody stuff related to other games. So I'd probably have to go with Rejoice on the Super Nintendo, which was only released in Japan, unfortunately. But
Oh man. All right. Gotta get the translator out. Okay.
mm,
That does sound good. That sounds good. Sorry, I was laughing at what Vocab wrote because I've seen that in your chat before, alone in the yeah.
That exists. I'm not gonna show the cover art. But Japan decided it was imperative to make a game called that.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with Alone in the Dark, though. It's more like Myst. It's one of those like Windows 95 point and click thing, adventure game things. The game basically degenerates into a UFO catcher simulator, though.
Yeah. Have you ever streamed Myst?
I haven't. No, I've streamed. I love that era of game where Myst, even before Myst, there was a couple of others like it, which
Yeah.
then led into Myst, and then Myst created endless clones.
Yeah.
But I've streamed. I love that type of game or things related to it, but I've never actually played Myst itself yet.
Okay.
Myst, Riven, Myst 3, haven't played it.
I've never played Myst either. So if I watch you play it, that's gonna be my first experience with it. Okay.
I
Cool.
figure there's going to be a lot of staring at puzzles and getting frustrated in Myst.
Yeah.
I've tried away from it because I kind of enjoy that type of FMV game or just adventure game that rendered adventure games that have more like a narrative and are
Yeah.
about crazy characters and stuff rather than just puzzles. But
Okay.
if I'm ever in a puzzle mood, I'll have to bust out Myst and play.
Okay. If there was one game that you could like erase from your memory and play fresh like you never played it before, what game would that be?
Gate of Souls, Tamashii no Mon on the PC 98.
Okay.
That's the Japanese game that's a very visually authentic replication of Dante's Inferno.
Oh.
It's instead like the Japanese did often in that era. They did it constantly. They wouldn't do any kind of dumbed down religious stuff or stylized in any way. They would just straight up make it look like the Renaissance art or the medieval art from Europe at the
Yeah.
time. That is astonishingly appealing to me. So this game just looks like Renaissance art, but it's like a 2D side scroller based on Dante's Inferno made by Koei.
Mhm.
That game was so amazing. It's shocking experience, that game, to me every time I play.
Okay. Okay. That sounds awesome. I've never heard of it, but now I'm gonna go and check it out. I'm definitely gonna watch back the VOD and be like, okay, let me make a note of this.
Yeah, I've probably streamed it about 5 times. I always go back to it.
Do you think that's like the game you've streamed? Is there? Do you have a game that you've streamed like a ton of times, like the most times, other than Captain Trueno?
I was gonna say, there was Cannon Dancer Osman. It's got 2 names. That's an arcade game. A lot of these short games are only like 10 minutes, like arcade games and stuff. I've played plenty of those many times before. In terms of a long game or a longer game that's at least like 2 hours or something, I always do like yearly playthroughs of a French FMV game on DOS called Hardline,
Okay.
which is amazing and it never gets old. Hardline, I always at least one playthrough a year, if not 2.
Okay.
The French bestowed upon us the greatest FMV game, in my opinion. It's in English though; it's not just in French, but it was French developed, and it's kind of like very it's very action. It's kind of like inspired by like animes like Akira, but also like Hollywood movies like Rambo and stuff. It's just out of control. It's hilarious.
Okay. You know, I just watched Predator and what's that other movie I was gonna say? I watched it for the first time ever this year. So, what is Macaw's #1 favorite action 80s movie?
I don't know if I have a number one. I can't. It has to be broken up into genres. Best sword and sorcery, Conan the Barbarian and Deathstalker 1.
Yeah.
Those 2 movies. Best action, like in terms of, because Rambo 1 and Rambo 2, or First Blood and First Blood Part 2, they're very different movies, but in terms of the superhuman commando thing, like Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2, Predator, those are the best. Die Hard. All the classics. The only real obscure one was probably Deathstalker, but even Deathstalker's got a big cult following.
Yeah. I never watched like Predator and like all of those kinds of movies like until recently. So I'm gonna write that list down.
Oh yeah, you're being reminded in chat here. Showdown in Little Tokyo was amazing. That shocked me. RoboCop, of course, masterpiece.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh yeah,
one of the best John Carpenter movies. John Carpenter, and in regards to John Carpenter, Escape from New York, the classic, the bona fide classic. It's very inspirational to video games as well, stuff like that and Blade Runner and stuff. They're incredibly like video games took so much from those movies.
We need to have a movie night, yeah, for real. All right, Macaw, I know you have to stream soon, so I'm gonna let you go because we could sit and talk all night, and I know you've got a lot of work to do and stuff.
You can always do it again sometime.
I would love that. I would love that,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure we work out the sound issue. I know Chrome is not the best. I hate it.
No, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. Hopefully it hasn't been too bad, but my apologies again for any sound. I don't know if it's when I go too loud, but
No,
Hopefully, it's been okay.
it's been okay. I think it's really just like, like when you stop talking for a little bit and then it's like not recognizing any sound, and then it's
There's
like,
a delay.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, wait, there's sound there. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Thank you so much for spending your time. Like, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. This has been really fun. I'm so glad we
Oh,
got to,
thank you so much for having me.
yeah, we got to like really pick your brain on some really good stuff. So, before I go, is there any last advice that you would give to anybody who wants to maybe get into broadcasting on Twitch or just like being on Twitch? Like anything that you would give to anybody?
You have to be passionate. You can't force yourself to do you can't force yourself to produce content, as they say. It
Yeah.
has to just come naturally, and you have to enjoy it, because if you enjoy it, you won't there's not as much chance of getting burnt out or getting into a rut where you're not enjoying it like you used to. So you have to figure out that balance. It also helps to wear a Shadow of the Beast 2 t-shirt. So that's the plus as well.
Tried my best. I really didn't know that this was one of your favorite games. That was just like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna pick an Amiga shirt
That
because
that shirt that comes in the Shadow of the Beast 2 box,
yeah.
that sells for like $500 these days, the box with the shirt in it and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I have this one because this is like the original when the game originally came out. Like
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
this shirt is. But I don't have the box anymore, unfortunately. But
Oh,
I do have the shirt and the box for Awesome.
awesome. I'm yet to play that. It looks awesome. It lives up to its name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. I love the Macaw Amiga streams. Those are like all of them
Oh,
are good, but
it's always fun. Yeah,
yeah.
Psygnosis did a bunch of shirts. I think they did one for Barbarian, Shadow of
Yeah.
the Beast 1. All the
Yeah.
Psygnosis shirts, you gotta collect them all now.
You know what? That is my goal in life to collect all of the Psygnosis boxes for Amiga.
Mm.
That would be like my apex of my collection. Like I want to
Psygnosis is their stuff, like just the aesthetic, the artworks that they used when it comes to Shadow of the Beast. The first two Shadow of the Beast of the Roger Dean artwork.
Yeah.
Very very striking stuff. Very British. Very good.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
bunch of Roger Dean like postcards like all over my
Oh,
room. So like, yeah, no, I totally feel you on that. I love this artwork so much. It's like not only is it like great artwork and just great like, video game artwork cuz especially the way that he treats the type, but I just feel like it's great 80s artwork too, and I'm a big fan of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's again, it's compared to what we see modern days. It's very evocative of the imagination to see these cover arts. They make you very much want to check out the games, whether the games be something terrible or maybe they're terrible but interesting, which is always good enough for me with some of these games. So
Yeah.
the cover artworks are a lot of big part of it. It's always
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Macaw, and thank you to like your community was like super here hardcore, like everybody was super supportive, so thank you so much. I'm gonna let you
My
go.
evil community has lurked in.
Yeah, thank you for telling me the lore of 555. Now I will spam it to my heart's content without thinking that it was rude or something. Oh my gosh. Okay,
Thank
well,
you again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll talk soon and have a good stream. Everyone from my channel, make sure to go and follow Macaw, and I'll see you later.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. You all are amazing. Please, if you don't follow Macaw, like, what the heck are you doing? Like, that's just the best Twitch channel on all of Twitch. Like, seriously. Make sure to go check it out. Make sure to go click on that link that just dropped in the channel that Wolfmaster put in there, and make sure to click on the link that the bot just put in there for Macaw's Kevin Costner's Water World. That is such a it's really awesome game, and it's free, so please make sure to go check it out. 555 meme is a meme, not rude at all. Not rude at all. I'm 5 years on Macaw. No. No, okay, so one time I put it in the chat. One time I just spammed it, and then somebody was like, they added me. They were like, Ash, 55555 is very rude. Don't put that in the why did you put that in the message? And I was like, I'm gonna get banned. Oh my god, I forget. It was probably just some random person. Like they was just probably messing with me. Somebody is very wrong. Oh my god, no, but seriously, thank you so much, everybody. Herringstone, thank you so much for the raid. Broom Hatter, thank you for the raid. And Kate, thank you for the raid. Thank you so much for all the subs. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for Fractal Mind Mike for gifting that tier 1 sub to Macaw. Thank you so much. That was really one of the most fun and awesome interviews I ever had. And I'm really sorry about the sound issues. I did notice that Chrome was like has this like weird like thing with the mic of, you know, like I guess it's like some kind of like audio like gate or whatever. I don't know what happened, but I'm really sorry about that audio quality there. I'm gonna have to make sure that I send Macaw a message. But that was really fun. That was really funny. You wrote too many fives. You can't go over 900 billion. Maybe you wrote someone wanted to troll you. Macaw's still on Windows 95. Yeah, no, but thank you so much. Thank you. Like, doing these interviews, it's so fun for me because you get to talk to people and like kind of learn about what they do in a different light other than like seeing them perform, you know, or like seeing them on Twitch. It's like it's so cool to just be able to find out, well, why do you think this way? Like, why do you do it this way on Twitch? You know, what have you learned? Because for a lot of us, especially us who's been streaming for like many years, the platform has changed. The platform has changed from when we started, you know, to up till now. It's always going through different evolutions. So it's really interesting to hear about, you know, what people's journeys are and stuff. So we're doing another one of these on Wednesday with Coco Confession. And to meet other retro streamers. That's true. Because even if you might be the most popular person on Twitch, not everybody might not know about your channel. They might not know. So I hope, you know, even if you already know Macaw, this was really fun for you. If you didn't know Macaw before, I really hope that you go and follow his channel, because it's like definitely a really fun place to hang out, not just to watch the gameplay, but also to hang out with the rest of the community too. It's like so fun. Everybody makes it really fun in the chat, and we just celebrate really cool old games there. So yeah, that was really cool. So I'm gonna just take like a 5-second break and get something to drink. And then, yeah, community is super important. Yeah. These talks are, you know, who to who, I've been so terrified of doing, like, I'm not kidding. Like, I was really scared to switch directions and do something different, because it could be different for chat, you know, like when we play games, we can interact with chat and I can like read everybody's messages and, you know, like be very interactive in that capacity. But sometimes it's tough, like when you do a show like this, you can't be as interactive with chat. But I swear to you, I was reading everything that you all were saying, and that's why sometimes you see me laugh randomly. It's because some of the things y'all say is so funny. Like, it's really amazing. Oh, thanks, Mike. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lucha Jim. It would be really cool to find a way to extract the audio and like edit it and then put it like up on a podcast somewhere. Yo, yes. You know, Mudu, I've always personally wanted to get into it. So I have it on my Mr. FPGA, and I tried to start it up because the game that I want to play the most is Lagoon. I want to play the Sharp X68000 version of Lagoon, and I could not figure out how to get it working. So I'm going to need to look up like a instruction manual or something. People love collabs. Yeah, Ari, we definitely have done some gaming collabs, but I would be happy to do more. That was great, King of APOC. Yeah, just like right Void Works, just grab the audio out. Oh, thank you, Pikmin. Thank you so much. Yeah, and K, Chubo, Jiggy, and I are gonna be doing an art collab stream on the 22nd. All four of us. We're gonna be doing an art collab stream. I cannot tell you how excited I am to do this. And we're gonna do a raffle where we raffle off some dank magazines. We're gonna show off some really great art. It's gonna be awesome. Yes, that's coming on 11/22. Mark it in your calendar at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So mark that in your calendar. I haven't posted about it anywhere yet because I needed to make sure that we were okay to post about it. But it's happening. Me and Chubo and Jiggy, all of us. So well, the good thing is, Proud Onions, I will make sure to highlight the VOD. I will make sure to highlight the VOD for sure. So I'm just gonna edit. We're gonna still do our Morrowind Monday if y'all are okay with that. But yeah, Macaw should be going live pretty soon. So I definitely understand if people wanna, make sure they go and say hi to him and stuff like that and go and chat with him. Because I know he's gonna be